Everyone seems to have an opinion about AI these days. I'll be honest, every time some new AI tech comes out, I get a moment of panic. Like, oh no, the robots are coming, they're gonna take over everybody's jobs. It's so silly. However, in this video, I wanted to show you an amazing AI tool in Lightroom that you don't have to be scared of. It's not going to replace your creative genius. It's going to assist you and make your editing so much easier. Hey there and welcome. I'm Marcy Meredith, and on this channel I help photographers elevate their editing so they can create their signature style and book dream clients. First off, if you know that you'd like some more editing tips, I have a free guide for you. It's called the Consistent Editing Roadmap. It's a 7-step guide to help you with your editing. Click the link to download and I'll put it in the description box as well. Now let's get into this awesome AI tool. I'm going to jump into Lightroom right now. The AI tool I want to talk about today is the masking tool. So first of all, where is this tool and what is masking? So we're going to head into the develop module right here, and you'll find the masking tool is right up here, this little circle. We are going to click on that. I'm going to explain these tools and how to use them on these straight raw files from my client. And then we'll walk through a bunch of examples and throw some presets on them because that's always fun. And then you can see a more finished image. As of the October 2022 update, this is what it looks like. There's lots of options in here, which I'll show you. But first, what is masking? So masking is when you mark a certain area of an image and then you make edits and adjustments to it, but it only affects that selection. So if I were to just do this really quick with a brush, which you guys might be familiar with if you've used the masking tool, that was there before October. If I just draw, I can use this, and then when I make adjustments to it, it'll only affect that specific area. You can show this overlay, or you can keep it hidden and just show what you're editing. And then you can control the brush down here, the size, fit feathers, flow. I better put this back on for you. Okay, so you can see it's a little bit more intense, or if you want to just do like a little bit at a time and build on it, you can do that. So you've got lots of control over here. I'm going to delete that. You can also play the opposite game. So we've made a mark. Whatever mask you do, you can do this. It's called invert. You click on that and it selects everything except what you initially drew on, or the initial selection that you made. So this can be useful for various reasons, which I will show you in a second. And how do we use this tool? So we used to have the brush, the linear gradient, the radial gradient, and the range in our masking options before, but these new ones right here, they've got these little dotted edges around them. And then people, these are the new like AI options. So what's going to happen is when you select, let's just start with subject. It's going to detect the main subjects of your image. I would say majority of the time it does the correct selection. There is a way to remove or add if it doesn't quite get it right. So when you have your mask right here, there's this little add and subtract button. Let's say it grabbed too much of something. I'm just going to use a brush. We can just erase whatever we didn't want from that. And likewise, you can add if it didn't get enough. In fact, I think it didn't grab her dress. Right here. So let's just add that back. Okay. And now that we have our selection as a subject mask, we can make whatever adjustments we want. And it's going to start with this overlay, but once you start working on it, it will go away. So say it was dark or light, you needed to change something, you needed to make it cooler or warmer. Anything that you do is going to show up only on that subject. If you want to double check what your selection is, you just click that on and off. Now you can increase and decrease the intensity of this by using this slider. So all of these adjustments you've made, if it's a little too strong, just decrease it a little bit. If you feel like you've done it incorrectly or you don't like what you've done, you just hit this reset button. It'll keep the selection and then it'll just reset your edits that you've made. Now, remember I said you can invert it. You'll just click on this mask so that these little sections go away. If we just click on this little 3 dots, it will say invert mask 1. Sorry, that's off the screen, but you just click on this and it's got the inverse option. So if you want to change the background, it's too dark or your colors are off or something, whatever adjustments you want to make, you can just go ahead and invert that mask. The other fun thing with the inverting is, say you want to make adjustments to both areas, you can just duplicate and invert this mask. Sorry, again, it's off the screen, but it says duplicate and invert mask. So it's going to make a copy, and then you can work on each separately. So if you want to make this one a certain way, and then you want to go back here and fix the color or whatever you want to do. If you need to delete a mask, you will just come over here and hit delete. You can also delete all of the masks if you're not happy with them. And once you have a mask in here and you leave the section, when you come back, it's not going to have that menu pop up. You'll need to create a mask right here and it'll give you all the options again. So the other choices you have a sky. Let's head to, ooh, I don't have a sky image in here. What am I thinking? Nope, no sky detected. Okay, I am going to pretend that I have a sky and it's going to select the sky for you. My bad. But it'll be the same exact thing where you'll have the background selected of only the sky, and it's just really good at detecting. Now in this one, I do notice that it selected a little bit of this. So let's go ahead and get rid of that real quick. Poof. Okay, now it has the background selected. Awesome. So let's say we just want to make it, I don't know, we want to save some of those background. I'm just doing it a little extreme, but, or it's too warm or something and we need to match it. Okay. Can show off and on what it looks like and turn on that overlay or take it away. So the next one we have is objects, and you're going to just click on here and then you're just going to draw generally where this object is. It can be really rough. And then it will detect the object for you. That was a really good detection. Now we can choose whatever adjustments we want to make. I'm just making these up of what kind of adjustments you want to do. Okay, delete that one. The last section we have is this people section, which is the coolest part. When you click on it initially, it's going to just have this little detecting people thing. And then it will go ahead and select all the people. It's going to detect like the main people in your group or what it thinks is the main. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next interesting part about this is that it will choose all the different spots on the body. So we've got face, body, eyebrows, iris and pupil if you go in really close, lips, teeth, and hair. So you can see that they are in multiple lighting spots. He's got a little spotlight on him and she's kind of tucked in the dark. Let me just pull this up a little bit. Okay, so once you edit him, if you make it brighter, he's going to go too bright. If you make it too dark, she's still not being able to be seen. For him, we just want to kind of make it overall a little bit more even. So I'm going to select him. Because he's completely in that spotlight, I'm going to leave it as selected the entire person. And then I'll just go ahead and create the other one first without making adjustments to him at this moment. So select people and we're going to select her. Let's just choose her skin. How about? Okay, so I have her selections, I have his selections, and now we can adjust. So we'll click on him first. I'm going to kind of bring his exposure down, pull down those highlights a little bit. And since the rest of the photo is a bit warm, which, we haven't even made adjustments to the photo at this point, but if we can even out the overall image first, that's fine. Or after. You can do it after you do like a preset. But he is generally a little cooler, so I will warm him up a little. And then we can see how that fixed it. Okay, that's much nicer. Now we have her, so let's increase her exposure a little bit. Pull up those shadows. Don't want the highlights to go too far on her arm and her leg. And then as we pull her up, we notice that she is a little warm as well because she was in the shadows. So I'm going to cool that down a little bit. And like I said, we can increase or decrease the intensity of those edits that we have made. But I think that's pretty good for now. So you'll see before and after, and I will do that together. Uneven and even. Click out of that and you can, start working on with the rest of the image with your presets and whatever you want. But you can do this after you've applied your presets or done your edits, whatever, and this is your final step. The other cool thing that will speed your editing up is the fact that you can sync these masks. So if you did, like in the past, if you had a brush and you, I don't know, increase this exposure, I'm just going to do this drastic. You could still sync your mask with the next photo, but it's going to apply that exact location to the next photo. So if your photos aren't back to back, like exactly the same, then it causes problems. So brushwork, I would not sync, generally speaking, especially if you're like working on skin or certain specific areas. The good part is that if you sync the subjects or background or sky, those are really good ones to use. You can detect all the different subjects on all the different images individually. So let's just make a quick adjustment to this. Now we want to sync this mask, and it didn't pop up very long, but it will say like rendering each other image. So then when you go in here, it has grabbed, let me show you. It's grabbed the subject mask of this specific photo. So it's really cool. It just automatically does it. It's so much faster. Obviously, you don't want to do this across very different photos, but when you've got a sequence of 15 different individual bridal party members where it's basically the same lighting, this will be so much faster when you can automatically detect subjects or backgrounds or sky. One thing to be careful of is you probably don't want to use the people detection if you've got a lot of different people in multiple photos. You could do it back to back if you've got the same subjects, but it's detecting individual people and it labels them, person 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not going to be like if you, choose this bride and you make an adjustment and then you come here and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to sync this and then it will apply this mask to the bride. That's not going to happen. See how it popped over here? It's just going with the first person that they detect. So sometimes that can be in order, but for the most part, syncing people masks is probably not the best choice. So when this update was released, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to add these to my presets. So I added a little section of AI masks that do these specific things like brighten your background, brighten subject, darken background, darken subject, and then save sky. And it does multiple adjustments. Like I've created this to where it's not just like increasing exposure, but it does multiple adjustments in the mask. And then you can actually decrease or increase the intensity here. You can also do that in the masking, and you can make any other adjustments that you need to as well. So anything that just makes your editing go faster is awesome in my book. I'm going to go ahead and edit these photos with presets and masks, and you can kind of watch along and see how these finished photos will look. So basically, Lightroom is just making it a lot easier to edit lately. Their AI masks are blowing my mind. It's just really exciting. And even though it makes me nervous sometimes with all these, technology advances and worrying about our jobs, and I don't think it's going to replace our creative genius. I think we should embrace it and use these tools to help us and assist us instead of worrying about, replacing us. If anything, I think it's going to encourage us to push boundaries and become more creative and become better artists. Check out this next video to learn 5 steps to get started with better editing. If you are excited to learn about editing, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and also don't forget to download the Consistent Editing Roadmap.